guys, welcome to DATAHACKS. My name is Bharat Natrayan. Now we are in a 14th video of Next.js series. In this video, I am going to explain about the static generation with practical demo using getServer-side-props. Before that, what is getServer-side-props? It is one of the data fetching method. We have multiple data fetching method. GetStaticProps is used to achieve static page generation. The remaining 4 data fetching methods I will teach in a future videos. I will post in a couple of days. So data fetching is nothing but it is used to consume the data from the external source. We can get the data, call the data from external source like content management system. So let's start the getStaticProps. So by default itself, page Next.js app will generate the static pages. So we can if we are going to generate the static page with the external data, we have to provide the getStaticProps function. It will instruct the Next.js app, I am going to create a static pages like so. Whenever we are going to build the page, at that time it will generate the static page. This means the whenever the developer is going to build, at that time the static page will be generated. So this happen in the production. If the user developing the static page in developer server, at that time it will generate the page for each request individually. So this is because this happening because to get the advantage of the developer user, if there is any error, developer can also resolve the error by himself. He can resolve easily with this approach. So getStaticProps can only use in the pages and it cannot be used in a components. So it is a asynchronous function which return a data as a props to the functional component which is going to be rendered as a HTML page. So when should I use the static props? First of all, if you are going to create a static page, then you have to create a static generate the static page like blog, for example blog, then marketing pages. These kind of pages will not going to be change the data. At that case, you can use this static page. And also documentation, for example documentations also. The data will come from the content management system, and the page using of this static page will highly useful for you to get the good SEO. SEO is nothing but search engine optimization, which is the which indicate that the data traffic of users in your websites. So here the generated HTML page will be the data from the external stores will be stored as a JSON format. When the user gives the request, then the JSON format will load into the page and form the page HTML page, and the content delivery network provide the HTML page to the user or end user. So data can be this HTML page data can be publicly cached, and we can bypass this by using a middleware to rewrite the path. So next we are going to see the practical demonstration of getStaticPaths props. First of all, I am going to create a new page, which is here I am going to create a new page called Bharat. Next.js. Here I am going to create a function, then I am going to get the data from the external site. So first of all, I'm going to explain about the static page without the data. Next I will explain the static page with the data. So this is the example of static generation without data. So I'm going to kickstart this project. So I have the link, it is accessible for me. So here I reached the home page. Now I'm going to give the name as a Bharat. So here you can see I have received the element Bharat. So here we have entered the data manually, so we have not used any get static props. So it is the example of get server side get static props without data. Next I am going to provide the example of get static paths with the data. So for getting data from external source, we have to use the function which is asynchronous function get static props. Here you can get static props. Now I am going to return. So before returning the data, first we have to fetch the data. For that I am going to create a variable to store the data, like a response await fetch. So for I'm going to use the fake API to achieve the data. So if you go to the browser and search placeholder API, you can find the fake placeholder fake API which is placeholder name. So here you can get the data. So I'm copying this one, so I'm pasting here, then I'm going to convert this data in the JSON format. So rest2 equal to await rest.json. Here I'm going to provide, definitely you should have provided the props within the return function, otherwise you will get the error. So here data equal to rest2. Now you can see here, by using this props I'm going to console to see whether we have received the data or not. Now you can go and refresh this page. We get the Bharat which is provided statically. So if we open the console, here we can see the data 100. So in this page I only want only one data, so I am providing only one. Now you can see here we have only one data, right title. So I am going to use the received data here. So props dot title. Okay, we have definitely we have to get the data. So here we have not destructured the props values, that's why. So instead of this I'm going to here and destructure as data, here data. So So what's the problem? Yeah, after refreshing we have achieved the data. Here now I'm going again I'm going to console log data. You can see here the title, we have provided that this title as the element of this page. Okay, now we have generated a single static page. In case we have multiple pages, but we have multiple data, and also we have to create multiple pages. At that time, what we can do? So I will explain this in the next video. So if you and thank you for watching this video, and subscribe the YouTube channel